Do you have a hard time setting boundaries? I know I do, but I also know that I'm getting a whole lot better at it. And I learned some tips and tools from a book that I actually read recently by Melissa Urban called The Book of Boundaries. And she started off by kind of explaining what are the benefits of boundaries, which is something that I didn't even understand at first, the importance of having boundaries. And the first thing is that boundaries help you perform your best when you're on the clock. So especially in the workplace, setting boundaries there is going to be very, very important in order for you to put on the best performance that you can. The second benefit that boundaries help with is being able to help you recharge during those moments that you're not on the clock. So as a golden rule, when it comes to boundaries, I think it's important for you to remember that people will take whatever it is that you are willing to give. So you have to set a precedence early on what it is that you're willing to give in order to try and prevent people from taking too much. Now, sometimes we do just this and people still try to take more than what you're willing to give. And that's when we have to enforce our boundaries. A lot of times we think as people that setting boundaries is selfish. And I want to challenge you to reframe this idea of selfishness and boundary setting, because setting boundaries isn't selfish at all, actually. It advocates for a healthy workplace culture. So if you're running into a problem in the workplace or in a corporate setting, whether you're a manager or an employee and you're struggling with boundaries with your manager or with your coworkers, I think it's really important for you to keep in the back of your mind while you're establishing and enforcing your boundaries that it's not you being selfish. It's simply just you trying to cultivate or build a healthy workplace culture that's not even just going to help you, but it's going to help, your whole management team and the workplace in general. Now, for those of you that might be working remotely, which I know is super common nowadays, I have 4 tips to be able to help you set personal boundaries while working remotely. The first being to establish a general workspace. So making sure that whatever work you're doing it maybe in a designated desk or a table at home in a certain room. Maybe not doing it sitting in your bed right before you go to bed at night. The second thing being to set breaks and to leave your workspace during those breaks. So that's where we kind of get caught up a little bit. Sometimes we'll set breaks and we'll take 30-minute, 20-minute breaks, yet we'll still sit in the desk that we're doing work. Is that really a break? So making sure that when we do set these breaks, we're at least taking our time to stand up, go take a walk, go get a snack, then be able to go back and resume work in your designated workspace. The third one is to not check your emails outside of your allotted clocked in time. Now, I know working remote, there's a lot of flexibility in what is clocked in and what's clocked out, and making sure that we're not checking our emails or taking work calls outside of those designated hours. And finally, my favorite point that I actually learned from this book was the idea of building a transitional space between work and home. So this can apply whether you work remotely or whether you work out in an office setting. Being able to establish a transitional space, oftentimes when we work outside of the house, in our car, and be able to debrief with yourself, what are the things that went on during your day at work? What are some things that you want to leave behind at work? And then maybe make a plan for, okay, how do I want to move forward with my day? What are some things that I need to get done once I get home? That way you have whatever it is that you dealt with at work left behind, and now you're not taking your work home with you.